Now, an interesting thing that's going on here.
Yes.
A new bit of news. There is apparently an experimental gameplay team for World of Warcraft at Blizzard.
Yes. It is mostly classic people, which is interesting, but...
So here's this. Super excited to say I'm working on a new experimental gameplay team. Can't speak much in details yet, but we're looking for gameplay and UI engineers to help us on our journey. Please retweet for Signal Boost. So this is from Orlando Salvatore, who is a classic WoW senior software engineer. Now, man, it's just interesting because I'm thinking like what I've wanted for the longest time is Classic Plus. Basically a WoW classic that doesn't end in the same way that RuneScape, old school RuneScape is like, it gets active development with the old school ethos. I just think that's so cool. Yeah. So that's what I'd love, but I'm not saying that's what's happening. It's just they have this team. Yep. So yeah, right. Software engineer, experimental gameplay. The engineer for this project can take inspiration to reality from features, infrastructure, to tools and more to build new gameplay. What you will do: design and develop solutions for experimental gameplay direction for the World of Warcraft game. Understanding of World of Warcraft gameplay and systems. And of course, all the usual things you would expect for a role like that. Then also, we have a senior software engineer for UI on World of Warcraft. Again, for our experimental gameplay team. Yeah. We're on a quest to iterate for the best experience and to look at interactions and gameplay from new angles. That kind of says Classic Plus to me, but that could just be some hopium.
I don't think it's copium, and there are two reasons that once you're done with this spiel, I'll actually talk about.
Yum yum! Oh, he's got me excited.
Don't have the clip prepared. I'll try to get it when you talk.
Sure. Work with designers and other engineers to establish a shared vision for compelling UI features focused on experimental gameplay. What could that be? Do they look at the, what's it called? Aversion. Version were like Ascension, that's it. Do they look at Ascension and think, holy fuck, look what they're doing?
That's one of the things I was going to touch on, where like the speed that Ascension can implement features, the relative quality it seems they implement them, and also the sheer variety of stuff, where it's like, I signed up for it. I haven't really played it, but I signed up for it, and I just get emails occasionally because I like to track. And I just got an email, like, here's TBC Mythic Plus. I'm like, what? Okay, sure. And then looked at the Keystone UI, and I'm like, that's certainly better. Interesting. They seem to just be, and that's why I think the fact that it's experimental UI and not just gameplay, it implies to me that it's very different, which to me seems like, if you want a season of mastery that's season of freedom and you can cross-class, that's exactly how you would begin to set this up.
And this really does seem to be a classic team thing, because we've got, this tweet from Orlando. We've got a lead producer also talking about my team's looking for some super awesome people. A technical designer, again, on WoW Classic. So it's all WoW Classic people who are really talking about this. Yep. What could these be then? That is the big thing. Okay, so that's the big thing. Just trying to see if you've got anything teed up. Oh, yes, the Towley clip.
Yep.
I've heard tale of this clip.
Yep. So this is you're saying Classic Plus.
So should I go straight into Towley?
Yep, go for it.
All right.
Right now, what I can tell you, and this is me from information that I've had for like a while.
Can they hear this?
That's a good point. It depends on where. No, because you're piping your audio through, so we can't. Okay, cool.
It's okay. We'll just come down here together, everyone.
This is not going to work.
This Wrath is going to be like unleashed. It's going to be Wrath Unleashed. It's going to be like Wrath Classic Plus. Some crazy shit is going to go down with Wrath. I think Wrath, like from like a metrics and like subscriber standpoint, is going to probably decimate the shit out of Classic and BC once you see what they're going to fucking do. It's going to be insane.
Yep.
No idea if that worked.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Yeah, good. Yep. I mean, physics sort of says it should.
Yeah.
Considering these are my vibrations and that's Towley's vibrations.
Yep, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously...
Yep, go big. Give me that. Give me some of that.
I mean, obviously, Towley could just be a copium dealer here, or hopium dealer, whatever way, but generally
he knows
speaking,
people.
He generally knows, and no one cares that he does stuff like this because it works for Blizzard a lot of the time. He doesn't actually leak details. He just kind of gives little hints and stuff.
Yeah.
But almost certainly, it's like, if there's, as Dacro says, standard Towley hype, KEKW, but so many things are coming here that this is why there could be like this experimental gameplay team could be. I mean, this is the awkward part, right? Because they're only set up or only seemingly hiring up now. It might be a while before stuff happens, but he could have heard a lot of plans of like, yo, this is what we're going to do for Wrath. We're going to actually try to make this one work because TBC didn't largely. So
Yeah, that's
Certainly
interesting.
big
Like, I know Tully gets a load of shit, but he's been pretty honest about thinking Shadowlands is not great.
yeah,
I mean, at least in the past, I haven't checked in,
Yeah.
but had been. So that's interesting.
indeed.
Look, if there was Classic plus Classic, I'd be very excited about. You see a Classic plus Wrath of the Lich King though. Imagine if it was taking the trio of Warcraft 3 direct follow-up expansions, and then the Classic plus bit is just on top of all of them and they're shared. Right? So imagine if it's a Classic plus Wrath of the Lich King, but you could still do shit in Eastern Kingdoms Kalimdor, still do shit in TBC, still do shit in Wrath. That would be so cool.
And that's,
Like,
I think...
that would be... That would basically be like the ultimate version of original Azeroth.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to, keep the ending and all of that, but then just flesh out the state of the world before Cataclysm, I think, I just think people would really like that.
Yeah, and it would also
So cool.
it would also provide either a split point or a reason for them to go, we're not doing classic Kata. We know what happened when we released Kata the last time, and our subs can't go any lower than that, so no thank you. So I think that's it would be hard and probably take a long time for the experimental gameplay team to do that, and also the experimental, well, depends on what Dragonflight ends up being, but it would feel weird if they were trying to kind of revive the old world in two different games at the same time. I feel like someone literally would go, why are we doing this twice? What's happening? Because obviously the tech would be so different, but
Perhaps it would be Classic Wrath of the Lich King with a bunch of nice changes, and then they announce, and we're continuing this one onwards like this, and the experimental team that is being staffed up now is working on that project, which won't come to fruition for another year and a bit, until Arthas has been dead for a few months in Wrath Classic, maybe.
Yep.
Look, put it this way, if they executed on that, I'd be in.
Exceptional.
I'd be
Exceptional,
big
yeah.
in.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Well, I guess we can tell if Ascension goes down to a DMCA, then we know they're doing that. That's maybe the way to look at it, but yeah.
So that's very cool, very exciting.